This is the plaintiff, Jacqueline Lipford. She says the defendant, her ex-husband, cashed an insurance check which was made out to both of them, and he never forked over her share of the money. The louse even forged her name so he could cash it in an attempt to hide the money from her. You have to get up pretty early in the morning to fool her, and she ain't gonna let anybody get away with stealing her dough. She's suing for $2,559.21, the amount she's due. This is the defendant, Paul Lipford. He says his truck caught on fire and was burned to a crisp. How the plaintiff thinks she's entitled to half his money is a joke because the truck was his. This lawsuit's just the plaintiff's way of trying to get some money out of him because she found out he settled a workman's comp case and she smells green. He's accused of not sharing.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff claims her ex cashed an insurance check that she was entitled to half of, and she says that she's going to get that money right now. The defendant says the insurance was for his truck that was torched. It's the case of, I still carry a torch for you.
Jacqueline Lipford, you are suing your former husband of 27 and a half years, Paul Lipford, for $2,559.21 in insurance money that you say he defrauded you of. Tell me what's going on.
Correct. We were married for 27 and a half years.
Did you have children?
Yes, we did. I have a 27-year-old son and a daughter that's going to be 22 in October. We weren't getting along. I decided to call it quits. I, in turn, moved out of the home that we lived in at the time, found my own apartment. He had the truck. Then we were not on talking terms. He refused to, talk to me.
But let me ask you a question. When was the divorce final?
March 1st of 2011.
Okay. And when you say he had the truck, whose name was the truck under?
As far as I know, it was under both of our name.
Do you know otherwise? Or it was under both?
It was in both our names.
All right. And then did you have lawyers at the divorce?
No.
No,
you
did
did everything yourself. Okay. Do you have the divorce decree?
Yes, I do.
May I have it? All right. So he has a truck, and what happens to the truck?
From what I understand, it was caught on fire.
What happened to it?
A turbo line broke. It was a diesel. The turbo line broke, dripped down on the manifold, and caught the truck on fire.
So it did go on fire?
Yes.
All right. And when did that happen?
December 2010.
December 2010. Were you folks living together when that happened? No, right?
No.
Okay. And so that happens, and then you put in an insurance claim, and the insurance pays you how much?
I got a difference of a little over $5,000.
How much?
I want to...
Exact amount.
I don't remember yet.
Okay, you know though, because apparently the check came in your name and his name.
Correct.
Okay, did you sign that check in order to enable him to cash it?
No, I did not.
What happened?
I signed both our names to it and cashed it.
You signed your soon-to-be ex-wife's name, who you were not on speaking terms with.
We were on speaking terms
to a check that you then took all of and didn't tell her about?
Your Honor, we were on speaking terms at the time.
Okay, so you're on speaking terms. Why don't you speak to her and say, hey, there's a check in both our names.
I did.
Let's go to the bank.
I did.
Halvesies for you, halvesies for me.
The check was to replace my vehicle, Your Honor.
I understand. The
We
vehicle
signed
that
each
you
other's
told me
names on
was
things.
under her name too?
Yes.
Okay, so what part of that makes you think it's your money and that you are entitled? Clearly, the insurance company doesn't think it's your money because they're writing a check to both of you. So it's both your money. Clearly, you have told me that you both own the car. So how would it be appropriate for you to forge her name? And why is it okay?
Your Honor, we signed each other's names on checks for
So you
27
think
and a half
that
years.
little rule was still in place when you're in the midst of a divorce proceeding? Is that it?
So was he allowed to forge her name to this check to get the money? I'm going to go way in the back there. You're not.
No, not at all. It's still illegal. Whether you're married or not, you can't forge someone's signature.
Well, and her name is on the title. Is she entitled to half the money on the insurance?
No.
No?
Yes.
Oh boy, you had two choices. Which one is it?
Yes.
Oh, good. And what do you think? Can he actually sign her name on the back of that check?
I just think forging's wrong, period.
Forging's the wrong period.
Yeah.
But especially when you're divorced, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Going inside the courtroom.
She knew about it, Your Honor. She wanted half the check. I used the check to buy another vehicle. It was the only means of transportation.
She knew about it, and what? Oh, I know why you want the money. That's not my question. I'm saying, how do you justify legally forging someone's? Did you ever go to the police?
Yes, I did.
And what happened?
I'm working on a case right now with a couple of detectives.
How do you justify forging someone's name and then saying to a court of law, well, I used to do that when I was married to her, so it's okay. And yeah, the car was half in her name, but I needed it to buy a new car. Do you understand the weakness in the things that you are saying?
Evidently not, Your Honor.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you do, because when you sit there, take a pen and forge your name on it, I think you realize that it's not something you're entitled to. Because that's the only reason to do that. Why didn't you just pick up the phone and tell her there was a check in both your names?
I did, Your Honor.
And then what? And then she said,
She
"Oh, you
wanted
can
half
have
of it.
Huh?
She said she wanted half of it. She wasn't entitled to half of it. It was my
so
vehicle.
if she wanted
I paid for it.
then okay, so it's very clear that she wanted it. So then how is she not entitled to half of it if it's in her name?
I paid for that truck, Your Honor.
So what? So what?
The only reason her name was on there is because I couldn't take her off of the insurance until after we were divorced.
So what?
So
It's
what
not
makes
even
her
that it's on the
entitled to half of
insurance.
it?
It's on that she's on the title. So what? That's marital asset. Did she work? Did you work while you guys were married?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but even if you didn't, do you understand what a marital asset means? It means like you guys were a team. So even if she didn't work and you were, you can't just turn around and say to somebody after 27 and a half years of marriage, well, Judge, it's my car because really I made the money. Are you crazy? I mean, the thing is, I think you know that what you did was criminal.
I don't feel as though it was, Your Honor.
I don't know how you feel as though it wasn't. I'm aghast. Why'd you guys split up after 27 years?
We just were not getting along for the past couple of years. He had moved to Florida, came back. It was a total mess. Our marriage was over a long time ago.
Why do you say you broke up after 27 years?
I caught her with a friend of mine.
You caught her
Having
with a
sex
friend
with a friend of mine, yeah.
Okay. So is that why you think you're entitled to half that money?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with it.
All right. So let's see the divorce decree. Let me see any paperwork between the two of you that has anything to do with this. That's what I want to say.
Absolutely.
You guys were apparently going to file for bankruptcy at one point?
Yes, we were.
And?
That's the check.
What happened with that?
Our attorney had passed away, and needless to say, that never we never made it that far.
Wait, but what are you talking about here? Because you guys have this separate little agreement that is dated
February 11th?
February 3rd of 2011.
Yes.
And that is before your divorce is final.
Correct.
And what it says is that you agree not to pursue any legal action regarding the insurance payout. So by this point, you have found out. You find out about it, you get wind about it, and then just before the divorce is final, what you do is you enter into this little sub-agreement where you agree not to pursue any legal action regarding the insurance payout if he pays the lawyer who ends up later passing away, if he pays the lawyer for your bankruptcy fees.
Correct.
Did you pay the lawyer for the bankruptcy fees? No, because it never happened, right?
He had the money.
Say it again?
He had the money. I gave him the money.
Prove it to me.
I don't have proof.
No, that's not going to work.
Okay.
Nice try, though. Yeah.
He did
And
have
according to you, you spoke to the attorney's office and they never filed anything and he never paid him.
Oh, they had the money. She knew it. She knew it.
Did you? What do you mean that they had the money?
I gave them the money toward
Did
that.
they give it back to you?
Yes, they did.
Then what is wrong with you? It's not funny that you're perjuring yourself. You think that's funny?
I'm not perjuring myself.
Yeah,
they
you
had
are.
The $15
They had the money. You said that to me right now with the full intent that I would say, oh, well, then I guess he did his job. I guess he kept up with this, so you can't pursue it. You were hoping I wouldn't ask another question after that. Do you watch the People's Court? Clearly, the answer to that is no, because it's insulting to me that you would underestimate me. You are a thief. And you're going to need to pay her the other half of this money because you have zero right to it under the eyes of the law. And I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $2,559.21 because if this other sub-agreement never came to fruition, then she's entitled to be back to square one, which is it's a marital asset. She's entitled to half, and you know it or you wouldn't have forged it and then gotten caught. That's my verdict. Pay the lady.
All right, full session.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's talk to the defendant for a moment. See what's your reaction to how this has worked out at the end.
Maybe she's out of my life completely now. She has no more strings to pull.
What was it like to be in court with her there and see her, on the other side against you?
Knowing it'll be the last time I have to look at her, awesome.
All right. Do you regret forging your name on that? I mean,
I didn't forge her name on there.
no?
No. We signed everything together. She signed stuff. I was on the road.
Okay. All right. Right around the corner there. All right. Step on in here. Step on in. What's your feeling on this?
Everything went great. I am glad for the verdict. It's everything that I was hoping it would be. He should have never.
What went wrong? There's long relationship.
A
What
very
went
long
wrong?
relationship. We just grew apart.
What happened? When did you know?
Many years ago.
When
many
what
years
happened?
ago. When we just didn't get along and stayed together for all the wrong reasons.
Grew apart.
We grew apart. The love, yeah.
Harvey?
The love.
Well, I got to tell you, this guy behind me, he's a little goofy, but he's right. Fact is that even if you're married, it's wrong to sign somebody else's name. And if you do it, you can get in a lot of trouble. But no doubt that what the judge said, it's criminal to do, it's criminal to do. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.